Dear students, this is the last lesson of week 4, and with lesson 3 we discussed about sexual transmitted infection known as chancroid and some part of HIV/AIDS, about their history, about their transmission and symptom. Totally we discussed it. So as you know, this HIV destroys the immune cell called T cell, which are vital to the body for protection against infection or disease and the cancer. And AIDS results when HIV has severely reduces the number of T cell. So HIV lives in white blood cell called T cell, which are found in our body like blood, semen, and vaginal secretions or menstrual blood. Those are a place where mainly HIV virus live. This is what have been discussed in yesterday's class. The remaining part today we are going to discuss is again about HIV/AIDS. Before that, there are objectives. The objective of this lesson is, after completing this lesson, the students will be able to explain about treatment and the prevention methods of HIV/AIDS, list life skill methods to avoid HIV/AIDS transmission, name microscopic, not microscopic, net misconception or misunderstanding about HIV/AIDS, define responsible sexual behavior. These are the main objectives where each student is going to achieve. The next part of about HIV/AIDS is treatment. Currently, AIDS is not curable, but early treatment of HIV/AIDS with antiretroviral drug to break life cycle, and highly active antiretroviral therapy, which is targeted to slow down the duplications for increasing their lifespan. Also, no vaccines available to date, but medications are available to slow the development of AIDS. As a result, how we can fight or combat AIDS? We can combat AIDS by breaking the transmission pathway with applications of ABC method. A means abstain from sex, B is being faithful, C is condom use. By having this method, we can combat AIDS, producing drugs that can kill the virus or at least stop it from reproduction, developing vaccine against the virus, taking voluntarily counseling and testing service, encouraging men to be circumcised. This is one of combating or fighting HIV/AIDS. So there are stigma and discrimination on the people living with HIV/AIDS, so we can prevent those things in our local area or in our local surrounding. The next one is about responsible sexual behavior and life skill. Responsible sexual behavior and life skill. These are the personal skills that help to reduce the risk of having HIV/AIDS. Responsible sexual behavior means that acting responsibly and avoiding emotional acts towards the opposite sex. This means that responsible sexual behavior. It is important to be assertive. Using condom is very effective on reducing the risk of HIV/AIDS infection spreading. Girls and young women must be able to insist that their sexual partner use condom for sex. Boys and young men must learn to respect their partner and to take responsibility for their own sexual health and that of others by using condom. So there are the main life skills that are mainly used for responsible sexual behavior. So the main skills are abstinence, expressing love, appropriate intimacy, understanding sexuality, developing non-aggressive behavior. Those are the main skills. So the life skills to avoid HIV/AIDS transmission, where one is decision making. You can make a decision, which means that no sex or safe sex, dating or marriage. This is decision making. By having this decision making, you can reduce HIV/AIDS transmission. The second one is problem solving. Can solve problem by avoiding violent or sexual abuse. Thirdly, by self-esteem, which is self-confidence or value for self, is a one of life skill to avoid HIV transmission. And finally, respecting the right of other people is one of life skill to avoid the transmissions of HIV/AIDS. Students, these are the 3 main points about safe sex which can help people on their decision making and greatly reduce the risk of getting HIV/AIDS, which are ABC. A is abstain, B is be faithful, C is condomize. This is a prevention poster for HIV/AIDS, stop AIDS, love life. If you can choose A or B or C, the choice is in your hands. You can decide it. And summary about HIV/AIDS. There are misconceptions about HIV/AIDS, which mean eating together with infected person can pass HIV/AIDS. Mosquito bites do not transmit HIV/AIDS, which transmits. This is misconception. Not catch into contact with saliva of infected person. Cannot get HIV from prolonged or deep kissing. Those are misunderstanding about HIV/AIDS. So summary of the review of AIDS is, in general, biologists or scientists have been working for several years trying to produce a vaccine against HIV, but not yet discovered. By avoiding stigma and discriminations of people living with HIV/AIDS needs help, support, care, counseling, and guidance. So the main role players to prevent and control the HIV/AIDS are ours, you itself, we. Educational office, because in educational office there are a lot of individuals, a lot of people are found. There are different peoples. Job office, there are a lot of stakeholders in the job office. So job office have a main role player to prevent HIV/AIDS. So that help people a bit about creating awareness. By creating awareness, they can prevent HIV/AIDS, and by motivating people to take voluntary counseling and testing service. This is one of the summary review of questions. So there are around 10 questions in this lesson, and 4 what I am going to given, plus totally the week 4 is concluded by having this question: what is the genetic material of the virus? The outer envelope of virus is blank. List at least 8 viral diseases. Explain the transmission and the symptom of coronavirus or COVID-19. Why virus is then classified as living organism. Blank is a disease rather than a symptom. What is the difference between epidemic and a pandemic disease? Give examples. Why HIV virus is not treated by antibiotics. Warts, trichomonas, and herpes simplex are collectively called blank. Name some skills of responsible sexual behavior. Dear students, this is all about this lesson and totally about chapter 4. Do these questions carefully. Thank you for your attentive listening. Stay home, stay safe, save lives. Thank you. Bye bye.